Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Chandrika and this is Rika Life. Thank you so much for joining me on my adventures in yarn and crochet. I have so much that I want to share with you today. So in today's video, I actually want to share some finished objects, and I know you can see all the wonderfulness happening here. I have my big twist posh here and I have some completed hats. Please make sure you're not missing any of my videos. I post every Monday and Thursday, so definitely go back and check out my last video from last week. It's been lots and lots of fun. So if you're new here, I do have a craft show coming up this Friday, and I'm super duper excited about that. So I'm kind of getting ready in advance. So I'm recording this a little bit in advance just because I'm going to be more focused on that in the coming days. But for today, I wanted to share with you. So I had told you that one of my son's teachers is leaving. And so I did end up making something for her. So I'm going to insert that clip here and then I will be right back. I'm back and I'm going to share with you my finished project. So I had gotten your suggestions on a gift for my son's teacher, one that's leaving at the end of the month. And in my video, we discussed doing a hexagon cardigan, doing a poncho, and I showed you some mandala gradient yarns in both green and purple colors, and we were going through those. So I did receive comments and suggestions with many different ideas, color ideas, ponchos with a black trim, and just so many things. And then I got one comment saying, why not just do a hat and scarf? And I thought to myself, you know what? That might just be easier, quicker, and something that she might actually wear. So that is what I did. I had a bowl of a Karen skinny cake. This is what's left of it. I've used up definitely more than half of the cake. And this is the label. So this is a Karen skinny cake. I got it on clearance at Michael's for $5. And here are the details of this yarn. So this is a light 3-weight yarn and it recommends a G4 millimeter hook. It's 100% acrylic, machine washable and dryable. And that's what makes it so perfect for a gift. And I had a whole cake of it. It was quite large. This is what's left of it, but it was quite large. So I made a hat. This is the hat. This is the Divine Hat pattern. I absolutely love this pattern and I thought it would look so good with this yarn, and it really does. I used an H5 millimeter hook for this and pretty much just followed the pattern to a T. I've never really done 7 rows of the 4 double crochet increases, but I did it this time and it worked out perfect. So I made this. That's with this yarn that I'm showing you. And then I wanted to make a scarf, and I actually wanted to use up some of the yarn. So instead of doing a single thread, I actually used a thread from the inside and a thread from the outside, and I doubled up the yarn, and this was the scarf I was making, and I made it into a cowl. So it has the different shades of purple that the teacher loves. It has some blue in it. That's where I joined it. And then it goes back to the purple color. So she can wear it like this. Let me just see if I can get it on here so I can show it to you. This is the hat. It's fitting me quite well. That's the hat. And then this is the cowl. Whoop. So it kind of looks something like this. And the cowl came out really nice because it's nice and squish because I've doubled up the yarn. And the pattern that I used for this is just a corner to corner. So I made a corner to corner rectangle, and once that rectangle got to a certain point, then I started to do the decreases, and it was just one big rectangle, and then I stitched it together here to close it off. And that's what I made. So the hat and the cowl, which I'm very happy with. And I'm so glad that it's done, and I'm going to give it to his teacher. And now I'm working on other things, which hopefully I can share with you soon. I just keep getting inspired, and I'm really glad that I can also work on projects that have kind of been lying around. So, yes, okay. All right, so I hope you enjoyed seeing what I made for my son's teacher. I had a really good time working with that yarn. Again, that was the Karen Skinny Cakes. I'm not sure if they're available year round or if they are kind of released at a certain time and then, they were clearanced out at $5. So I'm not exactly sure if it's readily available. But I still have a couple more in my stash that I'm trying to work through. Likely I will be making hats out of them. I really loved how the Divine hat came out with that yarn. So I used an H5mm hook. If you're looking to use that yarn, that is what I used. And I love that yarn. It's just a little bit on the thin side. So if I was making, I want to say if I was making a blanket, I would likely hold it with a worsted weight yarn just because it is, I think it's classified as a 3-weight. Okay, so that was the first project that I wanted to share with you, and I really loved making that. I um, I think it's just easier to make a hat and a cowl or a hat and a scarf instead of a whole wearable, just because we don't know if people will want to wear what we give them. So I still have all my mandala yarn, my mandala gradient kicking around, but I need to find a good use for that. Speaking of mandala gradient, I made a huge boo-boo. So I was making a hexagon cardigan and I made one panel, so I made one side. So it's like a upside down L. And then I started the second one and I was like, this is going amazing. Like I'm almost done. It's almost time to join them together. And then I laid it out and realized it's not an upside down L because it's a hexagon, and a hexagon is supposed to have 6 sides, and I only made it with 5 sides. That was quite devastating because I was so excited that I was making progress on that project. So now it's just sitting on my couch, and my daughter wants to help me frog it, so I'll wait for her. She enjoys that part of ripping it all out. So I'll have to rip out that whole section and redo that whole section, and then I can move forward with it. So, yeah, that was not an exciting part of my day. But, it just goes to show that when you're starting a project, not to be overly confident and overly ambitious and, just count. Maybe count as you're crocheting, especially when you're making a hexagon cardigan. Just count and make sure you actually have 6 sides, That's not the first time this has happened to me. This happened the last time that I made a hexagon cardigan as well. This exact same thing happened to me. And I guess you just never learn, because I was like, oh, I'm making a hexagon cardigan. This is so simple. I can totally just like whip this up, and wow, look at how little yarn this side used. And that should have been a red flag for me, that hey, I still have so much yarn. But it wasn't a red flag for me. I was like, oh great, I can just finish off the other side and like here we go. Nope. So note to self, when making a hexagon cardigan, please count 6 sides before you continue on and make the entire side of the cardigan. Okay, with that out of the way, I'm going to share with you my next finished project. So I'm so excited about this one. I kind of had to modify things because there's so many new projects that are coming out, and just so many things that I want to do for my markets and so on and so forth. So I didn't want to have a huge project on my hook. Sorry, I just have a little project sitting here with me, and I was just crocheting it while we were talking. But I participated in the Christmas Cookie Crochet Along by the Crochet Crowd, with Mikey. And this is the yarn I used, Red Heart with Love. And this is the color Blushing Peach. Okay, and those are the specs of the yarn. It is 370 yards, 338 meters, 7 ounces, and 198 grams. And again, that's the color Blushing Peach. So this crochet along has like 6 to 8 parts. I finished part 1, and of part 2, I think I did 20. In total, I did up to around 24 or around 25. Okay, this is how much yarn I have left. So I literally used the whole ball, and that's when I was like, okay, I think this is done. Because if I show you the size of it, whoop, it's big. It's already quite big. So this is the Christmas cookie crochet along. And I thought it was a beautiful, beautiful project, and I wanted to do it all in one color. And I thought it was big enough. So the reason why it's big enough is because it's almost, I mean, it's smaller than that piece. But I have another area in my house where I will hang these types of projects. And I was measuring where I'd already made the thumbtack holes, and this was big enough. So I was like, let's stop here. And I could maybe do a little bit of a border on it because right now it just has double crochets. But I'm really, really happy with this. And definitely go over to the Crochet Crowd's channel and check this out. This is a beautiful crochet along. So I used the recommended hook size, which was the K hook. And so that is what I used on here, and it came out beautifully. So you can kind of see the join here. I can see it with the naked eye. I don't know if you can, where is it? You make it out. No, I can't even see it. But where did it go? Of course now I can't see it. It's right here. It's here. But anyways, I really enjoyed working with this yarn. I think this was my first time using Red Heart with Love. It's much softer than Red Heart Super Saver, and the stitch definition is gorgeous. Of course, it's a little bit of a thicker yarn, so I think the tutorial with this was done with Karen Simply Soft, and Karen Simply Soft traditionally is, it is a 4-weight, but it is a lighter, on the lighter side, and it's not as thick as this yarn or as like Big Twist Value. So the stitch definition is a bit different, but I still think this came out really, really nice. And so I am like delighted with this. I haven't woven in the end yet, but I am super delighted with this. And you know, I actually had this idea in my head because I think I bought like 6 balls of this. And in my head, I thought, if I could make this with almost an entire ball, how about I just make like 5 more and just keep them for gifts? So that's an idea that's kind of in my head. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it was like the perfect size where I was able to use up like an entire ball of yarn. And so that was pretty exciting. You know, I get a rush at the end of the skein where it's almost finished, and I'm just like, yes, I used another ball of yarn. Okay, so I'm going to show you what I'm working on. There's a project that's been sitting here at my desk, and whenever I come here, I do a little bit of it. And so this is a project I'm making with, I'll show you the yarn, one second. Let me put it down. Okay, so I am using Mandala Ombre in the color Tranquil, and that's what it looks like. It has olive green, it has blue, very light dusty rose red, it has a very light yellowish orange, something like a pinkish red, a purple, and then it goes back. So this one is 344 yards. It's machine washable and dryable. It's 100% acrylic, a number 4 weight. Recommends an I 5.5 millimeter hook, and that is actually what I'm using. You can see the colors worked up there. So this is my first time getting this color. I absolutely love this yarn. I've used it many times before, and I've used it for this exact blanket before. So let me fasten it off so it doesn't get unraveled, and I'll show you what I'm making. So I'm making a V cluster stitch blanket, and I don't even know know if I can hold it up. This is what it's looking like. It's pretty, it's not that long, but it's kind of long. And so I know you couldn't see any of that. Okay, so this is what it looks like up close, and it's a very, very simple pattern. This is a pattern by Nastasia. If you just search in YouTube for V cluster stitch, her tutorial will come up. It's like around 3 minutes long, and you can just keep repeating this and the colors are changing on their own. I absolutely love this pattern. It's so easy, it's so simple, and it's such a nice mindless project, which I really appreciate because, you know, you need that sometimes. So this is how much of the cake I've used so far, and I have maybe six to eight balls of this, 6 to 8 cakes of this color. And so yeah, I just plan to use them until this is finished, and that will be that project. So this is just an ongoing project that I have. I always like to keep some ongoing projects that I can just pick up when I want to work on something quickly, and that is working out really, really good for me. So I'm going to be back with lots more this week. I need to share about my sale that's going to happen on Friday. So likely that will be in next week's video, but just know that there's lots happening behind the scenes, and I'm just like super excited right now. So I wanted to thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I hope you have a wonderful crochetful day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.